Now we are on the Git website where you can download the latest version of Git. Here you can see that Git is a free and open source distributed version control system designed to handle everything from small to very large projects with speed and efficiency. Here you can check the latest version right here. Now you can see it's 2.31.0, and below we have a button right here to download the latest version of Git on our computer. So let's click it, and our download should start automatically. If this window didn't pop up automatically, here you can choose the version of Git suitable for your system. But as we can see, I have already a download window, so I'll just click save. Now we can see that our Git installer is already downloaded, so let's click it. And here we have it. This is our Git setup. Before we move on to the installation, you should know that on the Git website you can find many interesting materials. For example, a documentation about Git, or you can get the entire Git Pro book, where you can learn many interesting and more advanced things about Git. So keep that in mind. As I said, this is our Git setup. Here we can see the license agreement. We can read it, accept it, and then click next. We can choose the directory where we want to install our Git. Let's click next. You can see I have this message because I had Git on my computer before. So this folder already exists on my computer. You probably won't see it if you install Git the first time. Let's click yes. On this screen we leave it as it is. You can see that we will get Git bash. Also, as we will get the Git graphical user interface. So your screen is probably the same as mine. I will just keep it as it is. Then I click next. This is the screen about our start menu folder. So let's click next as well. And this is the first screen we want to stop for a while. This is the option where we can choose our default code editor used by Git. So let's click on this option. And in our case, we want to choose use Visual Studio Code as Git's default editor. As you can see, we have many code editors to choose, which are suitable for working with Git. But as I said at the beginning of this course, we will use the Visual Studio Code, and that's the editor we want to choose from this list. So let's click it. Of course, we can change it later, but it's the best to choose it during the installation. Now let's click next. On this screen, let's just leave it as it is. Let's click next. And this is the second screen I want you to stop and look for a while. In this case, you may have the first option selected, where we can see use Git from Git bash only. If you have this option selected, the first one, I want you to choose the second one, as you can see on my screen, where we can get Git from the command line and also from third-party software. As you can see, this is the recommended option, and we are going to choose it because in this course we are going to work with Git from command lines like PowerShell, CMD, or Git bash, but also from a code editor as Visual Studio Code. So on this screen, select the second option and then click next. The rest is not so much important, so let's just leave it as it is. Click next. Here we can click next as well. On this screen, let's just click next. And on this screen we will also click it through. So let's click next. 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 And at the end, all we need to do is click install. So let's do this. Now we are seeing the Git is being installed. Now we can see we have our Git installed on our computer. Here you can see you can view the release notes. Let's uncheck it. But let's check the other option we can see right here, which is launch Git bash. Let's click finish. And here we can see our Git bash. This is the first command line we are going to work with. First of all, let's increase the font size. we can click the right mouse button on the application bar, click Options, go to Text. We have a font option right here. Let's click Select. Let's choose a bigger font size, for example, 20 pixels. Okay, let's save. I think it's too big a little bit. Let's change it once again. Text, font, select. Let's make it 18 pixels. Save it. Okay, I changed it once again. 16 pixels will be alright in my opinion. Here I want to show you another command line. Let's keep those just to see it better. Here we have the Git bash, which was installed with Git on our computer. And at the right side we can see CMD, which is the basic command line of Windows. If you ever used any command lines, these are very similar, as well as with the third command line we are going to use, which is Windows PowerShell. And now what we want to do is to go to our CMD and type Git and press enter. As you can see, we have many information and many parameters here. We can type it in Git bash as well. Let's place Git, press enter. And you can see we have those information in Git bash as well. So the case is, if we write Git in any command line and we have any other answer than error, that means that our Git is properly installed on our computer. If we want to see it better, we can write Git version, and then we will get this information where we have Git version 2.31.0 on Windows. You can see this is the same version as we saw on the website. We can do it in CMD as well. Let's go to the end of our console. Let's place Git version, press enter. And here we can get Git version 2.31.0 on Windows. As I said, we are also going to use a third command line, which is the Windows PowerShell. And we can see it right here. And here we can also place Git version, press enter. And it's the same information in all three command lines, where we can see our Git is installed on our computer. In a moment, to get to know the command line a little more, we are going to work a little bit with Git bash and PowerShell. I want you to get to know some basic commands. So let's do it.